Okay, everybody, hands on your knees. You ready? Third story, Mr. Schmidt, we good? All right, here we go. Once there was a magical kingdom. Everyone who lived in the kingdom was magic. In the kingdom was a castle with high walls. In the castle lived a royal family of fairies. The guards of the castle were gremlins. They grew beautiful gardens in the castle with a wave of their hands, thanks to their magic. In the kingdom was a city with high walls. In the city lived the townsfolk and their pets. They had dogs and cats and guinea pigs. The townsfolk cooked breakfast and lunch and dinner with a wave of their hands, thanks to their magic. In the kingdom there was a jungle with tall trees. In the jungle lived deer and birds and wolves. In a cave beneath the jungle lived dragons. The jungle creatures built fires with a wave of their paws to keep the world warm at night, thanks to their magic. The whole kingdom bordered on a vast ocean. Mermaids sat and sang on the shore. La 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 la. The magic in the mermaid songs made everyone happy. The nighttime lullabies of the mermaids helped everyone fall fast asleep. Beneath the kingdom ran a magical, pulsing rope. The rope held the realms of the kingdom together. Because of the magical, pulsing rope that held the kingdom together, everyone had magic. The fairies had magic. The gremlins had magic. The townsfolk had magic. Even the pets and wolves and dragons and mermaids all had magic. Everyone in the kingdom had everything they needed, and there was no strife. All were happy. Though the residents of each realm knew of the other realms, they never visited. Though they knew that others lived there, they didn't know who they were. They didn't see them. They didn't hear them. They didn't talk to them. They stayed behind their walls. But when we stay behind walls and never talk to each other, it's far too easy for misunderstandings to tear things apart. One day the townsfolk woke to find that all their pets had disappeared. The dogs were gone. The cats were gone. The guinea pigs were gone. The townsfolk were very sad. They didn't know what to do, so they sent a message to the fairy folk, and they said, "Help, help, help." The fairy folk didn't know what dogs or cats or guinea pigs looked like. They sent the gremlins out to the jungle. The gremlins looked and looked and looked until they found some animals. They put the animals in a cage, bang, and carried them through the jungle. But the animals that they found were not the dogs. They were not the cats. They were not the guinea pigs. They were the wolf family of the king of the wolves. The king of the wolves saw his family being carried off by the gremlins. The king of the wolves was very angry and he growled. The king of the wolves dug down into the earth until he reached the magical pulsing rope. He grabbed the magical pulsing rope and pulled. He pulled and pulled and pulled. The rope tore into pieces. Rip! He pulled and pulled and pulled. The jungle tore free from the city. Rip! He pulled and pulled and pulled. The jungle tore free from the castle. Rip! He pulled and pulled and pulled. The ocean rushed into the space between the realms. Whoosh! He pulled and pulled and pulled. He pulled the jungle up into a great high mountain. He sat atop the mountain, howling his rage. The ocean filled the caves beneath the jungle. Whoosh! The dragons swam out of the caves. The dragons were angry and confused. They said, "We have lost our home to the ocean. Now the ocean is ours." The townsfolk were angry and confused. They said, "We'll be safe if we stay behind the wall." The fairy folk were angry and confused. They said, "We'll be safe if we stay behind the wall." Without the magical pulsing rope connecting the realms, their magic was lost. Their understanding was lost. Everything seemed lost. The pets had gone to the beach. They played games at the beach. They swam at the beach. They sang songs at the beach. They were having a wonderful day. Then the pets saw the kingdom being torn apart. They saw the jungle turn into a mountain. They saw the ocean roaring. Whoosh. They saw the dragons swimming. The pets jumped on the back of the mermaids. They swam far out to sea. They were safe. Whew. Then they heard a sad sound. It was the townsfolk crying. They heard fairies crying. They heard the wolf on the mountaintop, not crying, but animals can understand each other. The wolf was saying, "The gremlin stole my family. The gremlin stole my family." Because the animals listened to everyone, the animals understood what had happened. They came up with a plan. The pets climbed onto the mermaids' backs. The mermaids swam toward the shore of the jungle mountain. They swam toward the shore of the castle. They swam toward the shore of the city. As they swam, the mermaids sang their songs, la, 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 because the frayed ends of the magical pulsing rope were all touching the water of the ocean. The mermaids had their magic. The magical songs of the mermaids made the dragons fall fast asleep. The dogs and cats and guinea pigs climbed off the mermaids' backs. The dogs howled to distract the wolf, while the cats moved silently with the guinea pigs on their backs. Tip-toe, tip-toe, tip-toe. When they were at the right spot, the guinea pigs dug and they dug and they dug. When they reached the magical pulsing rope, all the pets and the mermaids pushed and they pushed and they pushed, and they pulled and they pulled and they pulled. The realms of the kingdom started to move back together. The ocean waters began to recede. Whoosh. The dragons woke up. The dragons were confused and said, "What is happening?" The wolf on the top of the mountain also said, "What is happening?" The dragons swam down into the ocean. The wolf ran down the mountain. Just as they were almost upon the dogs and cats and guinea pigs and mermaids, the ends of the magical pulsing rope rejoined. Zing. All regained their understanding and their magic. The pets went back to the city. The townsfolk told them, "We were so worried." The pets said, "We're sorry." The gremlins released the wolves. The king of the wolves told them, "I was so angry." The fairy folk said, "We're sorry." The dragons swam back to their cave. The mermaids swam back to shore. The kingdom was restored. Everyone was saved. Hooray! But from then on in that kingdom, one thing changed. At the castle, the fairy folk knocked down the walls. In the city, the townsfolk knocked down the walls. Everyone explored all the realms of the kingdom. They sat together and had picnics under the shade of the tall trees at the edge of the jungle. They had parties on the beach. They played games on the beach. They swam in the ocean. They sang songs together. Together they all lived happily ever after. And from that day to this, the wolves howl to remind us how important it is not to allow misunderstandings to wall us off and tear us apart. May their songs in the distance help us also to live happily ever after. And that's the third fairy tale. Take a bow, Mr. Morris class.